hoping this is a pretty straightforward lesson for you because we have done a lot of this already. So, now, this, operations on functions, let's make sure we're clear on this. So, I read this as f plus g of x is the same thing as f of x plus g of x. Just like f minus g of x. Okay, so for the sum, the difference, the product, the quotient. We can take, so f divided by g of x is the same thing as f of x divided by g of x. So, just want to make sure we're clear of that. So, given, I say find f plus g, given this is f of x, this is g of x. So the f plus g of x is going to equal f of x, 2x cubed plus 16 plus g of x, which is x plus 2. And then I'm looking to see, can I combine any like terms? And I can. I can combine the constants. And let's write this function descending order, 2x cubed plus x plus 18, right? And did I say factor? Okay, don't even look to factor. I said find f plus g. That's f plus g. Now, name the domain. Okay, so we always know that we can't divide by 0. That would be called a point of discontinuity because it doesn't exist. It's undefined there. Now, this is a polynomial, so we don't have any points of discontinuity. We'll look at an example here in a second that would. So our domain would be very simple from negative infinity to positive infinity. I can use any x value, and this is going to work for this polynomial. Okay? So now when I say find f minus g of x, if you will, we're going to take this f function, 2x cubed plus 16. So I'm going to take the f of x, 2x cubed plus 16, and I'm going to subtract g x plus 2. What did I do wrong with how I have it written? I'm subtracting g of x. Ms. Wiseman, what do I need to do?
You need to take the negative to the 2.
We need to distribute that negative through the polynomial, so it's minus x minus 2. I distribute it all the way through g of x. Everybody good with that? And then we simplify, combine like terms, so it's going to become 2x cubed minus x plus 14. Are you looking to factor? No, I didn't say factor. I said find f minus g of x. And again, this is a polynomial. There are no points of discontinuity, so our domain would be from negative infinity to positive infinity. Easy, right? Okay, let's find f divided by g of x. So that's simply f of x divided by g of x. And f of x is 2x cubed plus 16 divided by g of x, which is x plus 2. Okay, this is the f divided by g of x. Now, if we stopped right now, what could x not be equal to? Negative 2, right? So that would be a whole, right? So, but let's simplify it, then we'll state the domain, because I think maybe this is going to cancel, so we're going to be okay. Y'all with me? Give me a game plan. What should I do with this numerator? Anybody got a game plan? Yeah, Kyle?
With the numerator?
With the numerator, yes.
I was going to, could we synthetically divide?
Yeah, but I think there's an easier way. I mean, you're not wrong, but there's an easier way. Allison?
Take out the 2 and then do so.
Yeah, so take out the 2, and you're going to be able to soap. Look, if you factor out the 2, you're left with x cubed plus 6 plus 8. And real quick, divided by x plus 2. Do you see that? And then we could, this is a sum of cubes. Isn't that SOAP? So that equals 2 times, what's that going to give me? Who wants to SOAP that for me? Mr. Hodges?
In parentheses, x plus 2.
Good. So same sign. Go ahead.
And then in parentheses, x squared minus 2x plus 4.
Opposite sign, always positive, b squared plus 4. And this is all over x plus 2, right? And then those cancel. Agree? So my simplified function is now 2 times the quantity of x squared minus 2x plus 4. This is acceptable. Or you could have wrote it, I thought I would like it as 2x squared minus 4x plus 8. Because don't I always say I don't want it factored? Now, you go, Mr. Dicey just factored. Well, I factored to allow me to simplify it. And now, based off of my simplified polynomial, guys, what's the domain? It's everything. So it would be from negative infinity to positive infinity. Yes? Okay. All right, number 4. F times g of x, which means f of x times g of x. So we have 2x cubed plus 16 times g of x, x plus 2. And you have a binomial times a binomial. I recommend that we just FOIL. So that's going to become 2x to the 4th plus 4x cubed plus 16x plus 32. Questions? Yeah.
Would you take out the 2 or no?
Well, that'd be factoring.
Okay, so don't.
Would that factoring lead to us simplifying? Look up there. Am I going to be able to cancel anything out?
No.
So there's no need to factor out the 2.
Okay.
Okay? Other questions? Why don't we take a quick restroom break? We're going to use F and G, and we're going to actually find a value. Now, let's do this first. Let's find what F minus G is. So let's find what F of X minus G of X is. So we're going to do it 2 different ways, and I want to show you what I mean. So let's find F minus G of X real quick, which would be the F of X, x squared minus 5, minus G of X, and make sure you distribute your negative all the way through. So it becomes what? Minus 4x plus 2. Let's simplify that. So that becomes x squared minus 4x minus 3. Everybody agree with that? And then let's find F minus G of, that's x. Let's find F minus G of 3. Let's plug in the 3. So we go 3 squared is 9 minus 12 minus 3, which equals what, guys? Negative. Oh, I messed up. Thank you. Let's redo this. Let's try negative 3 here. So negative 3 squared minus 4 times negative 3 minus 3. Thank you. So we get 9 plus 12 minus 3. 9 plus 12 is what? 21 minus 3 would be 18. Did I do it right this time? Now, I think that's the longer route. Look at this. This also means this. F of negative 3. Wait, I just don't want to write the negative, do I? F of negative 3 minus G of negative 3. I think this is easier. Watch. Follow me. Plug in negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9 minus 5. 4 minus 4 of negative, G of negative 3 would be what? Negative 12 minus 2, which is negative 14. 4 minus negative 14 gives me 18. So let's do this. Let's do this way. So when you see this, Let's find g of 3 and divide it by f of 3. Sound good? So g of 3. Right here, 4 times 3 is 12. Minus 2 gives me 10. Divided by f of 3. 9 minus 5, 4, and we could simplify that into 5 halves. Agree? Isn't that more efficient by finding each one separately and going through? Okay. So now compositions, you've done this before. So notice when it was multiplied, it was a closed circle. But when it's the composition, the open circle, this means f of g of x. Got it? So here we go. And I know you've worked with these before. So if I say this is f, this is g, find g of f of x. Here's how I think you should write it. You're trying to find g of f of x. And then what you want to do is you're going to find g of what is f of x? 2x cubed plus 16. So I write that in. Does everybody have that written? And I take this 2x cubed plus 16 and I plug it into the g function everywhere there's a variable. So I go, here's the g function. I plug this in right there and then I go plus 2. So I go x, which is 2x cubed plus 16, plus 2. So it equals 2x cubed plus 18. Question, did I say factor? No, so don't factor out a 2 and then try to factor it out. I'm just asking you to find g of f of x. So then in B, where I'm asking you to find f of g of x, rewrite what is g. So f of what is g, guys? It's what? X plus 2. And everywhere in the f function where there's an x, I'm replacing it with x plus 2. So f of x plus 2 equals 2 times, replace this x with x plus 2 cubed plus 16. And I'm okay if you leave it just like that. Questions? Okay? All right, let's keep it going. So I give you, find f of g of x. These are my f and g. Say real quick, in the g function, what can x not equal? What can x not equal? 0. Give me an undefined. Give me a point of discontinuity. There's a vertical asymptote there. So if I said find the domain of g, you would say from negative infinity to 0 exclusively, and then from 0 to infinity. Just remind you of that. So here we go. Number 8. F of g of x. F of what is g? 3 over x. And then we're going to take 3 over x into the f function, and f is x squared, so it's going to become 3 over x quantity squared. Let's go ahead and simplify that. 3 over x squared quantity squared becomes what? 9 over x squared. Now you guys find g of f of x. You guys get 3 over x squared? We okay? Okay. Next. I give you f of x is x squared. G of x is 3 over x. Find f of g of 3. So that means this, f of g of 3. We're going to find f of, follow my cursor here, g of 3. Go to the g function, plug in 3. What's 3 over 3, guys? 1. So put a 1 there. Now you're finding f of 1. Go to the f function. What is 1 squared? All right. Let's look at it visually. So if I ask you to find f plus g of negative 4, remember, I said it's more efficient to think of this as f of negative 4 plus g of negative 4. Agree? So let's find f of negative 4. We go to our graph. Here's f. Here's the input, negative 4. What's f's output, guys? Ella, what's f's output? At negative 4, f's output is?
Positive
3. Good. Plus, go to the g function. At negative 4, the g's output is negative 4. Agree? So 3 plus negative 4 gives me negative 1. Make sense? Okay, so we're going to think of this b of the f times g of 2. How am I going to rewrite it? Ms. Rice, how would I rewrite that? What's an easier way to think of that?
F parentheses G parentheses with the 2 and then another parentheses.
Well, that's what that is. I think what you really look up here, look what I did. I took each one separate. So how should I write this? F of
F of 2 and G of 2.
times g of 2. There you go. So let's find f of 2. Here we go. Thomas, what is f of 2? Okay, you looked at g. Negative 2. And what is g of 2? John, what's g of 2? Positive 1. Okay? And then, so negative 2 times 1 gives me what? Negative 2? Did I do that right? All right, now you guys try C. Go. So I would write it as f of g of negative 3 and work inside out. B-Tool, coach me up here. What's g of negative 3? And then B-Tool, finish it off for me. What's f of negative 2? Your answer is 3. The graphs are great, aren't they? As long as we understand them. As long as we understand them. Questions? Okay, now look at this. I give you f of x is 3x, g of x is x minus 4, and h of x is square root of x. Write each function, this new function, capital G of x, so it's not anything to do with this, as a composition of two of these functions. So is it f of, so what they're asking is, does this equal f of g of x? Does this equal g of f of x? F of h of x? H of g of x? H of f of x? To get square root of x minus 4. Sheila, you think you see it? You don't see it? H of x is square root of x. How do you get square root of x minus 4? Does anybody see it? John, give it a shot.
G of h of x.
Let's see. Let's see if g of h of x works. What's h of x?
Square root of x.
So is that g of square root of x? If I plugged in square x into g, I would get square root of x minus 4. And that's not this, is it? So that's not the answer. Allison, what is it? It's h of g of x. Because look, h of, what's g of x, guys? X minus 4. And isn't h of x square root of x minus 4? Okay. See how we were able to, so the composition is this. This is your answer right there. It's, you could say that, or you could have said h of g of x. This could have been your answer also. Okay, so here we go. I give you this function, 3x minus 4, Shayla. You're not getting out of it. What do you think? Is it f of x, f of g of x, g of f of x? What is it? Okay, so you're saying it's the composition of which two functions? She's saying f of g of x. That's what she's going with. Let's see. F of g of x. What is g? X minus 4. F of x minus 4. So here's my f function. 3 times x minus 4. That's not right. Okay, so what's that tell you then, Shayla? What's your answer? You really don't want to talk to me today, do you? So it's not f of g of x. Hey, let's see if it works. G of f of, I love that you said hi to me. G of f of x. Let's see. Does that work? What's f? 3x. Go to the g function. The g function's x minus 4, but you're replacing x with 3x. That gives me 3x. Yep. There's my answer right here. You got to be able to see the composition of the functions. Okay? Now we're going to go even a step further. All I'm telling you is h of x is this. What? And h of x is f of g of x. What is f? What is g? What would f of x have been equal to? And g of x been equal to? To give, and I know it's f of g of x to give me this. Caitlin?
F is x plus 1.
What is it? F of x is what?
X plus 1.
Okay.
And then g is x.
Let's see. So you're telling me f of g of x, so f of x squared, that's going to equal x squared plus 1. That's not what I had. So what do you think, Allison? She was so close. You guys are 3 for 3 and having them backwards. So what's f of x?
X squared and g of x is x plus 1.
Yeah, because wouldn't that give me x plus 1 quantity squared? Okay, so you guys try it now. You guys try this one. What's f? And what's, am I on the wrong one? I'm on the wrong one. What's f? And what's g? Metul, what's f?
I got f of x as 1 over x, and I got g of x as x minus 5.
I think that works because you're going to plug g of x into f, 1 over, plug that in, x minus 5, bingo. Nice job. Here's your assignment.